Now in our 6th year, this is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Hey everybody, this is Alex and this is the Ramble, and we go until midnight tonight on the East Coast of the United States. The man in the shadow. You notice the shadow? There. Don't touch your camera.
Hello.
There, he's wandering around his apartment. There's his refrigerator. You got a nice kitchen there.
I like it.
Yeah, and that's your dining room there. And how many rooms you got?
I got this living room, little bedroom area.
Yeah. Wait a minute. Let's go into your bedroom a second.
Okay.
I want to see how messy your bedroom is, because this is a bachelor. There's no woman around saying, "Did you make the bed today?" Every day I have to make the bed, or I'm in trouble. Okay. A bathroom. Okay. Let's see the bed. Let's see the bed.
Bathroom's very clean. Ooh.
Oh, the bathroom is clean. The bed made?
Well, it's made enough.
Oh, I see. Okay. All right. Well, my wife kind of forces me to make the bed. There's another cat.
I don't have that problem. My wife is in California.
Your wife is in California? Okay. Yeah. She's never come back, though, has she?
Oh, yeah, I know. It's a wonderful thing.
But, I mean, how do you deal with that? I mean,
I go on the Miss with a chorus girl. I don't know. I'm very content here.
Yeah.
Me and the 3 babies.
This is the second time we've had to record this because Uncle Al fucked up in recording it.
Yeah.
I didn't set it up so that it would record the picture.
Well, the last time we're doing it today, so you better get it right.
Yeah, I got it going right now. What we were talking about earlier, before I realized I had fucked this whole thing up, is we were talking about pot being legal in Nevada, and they just made it legal here. Okay. Now, the governor signed it into law, I think either last Wednesday or last Thursday, and I figured Friday the first store would open. But then I was informed and abused of my feeling about it, because they told me, it's going to be 2 years before they finally get this thing hashed out. They made it legal, which means I could probably walk down the street now smoking pot, and no cop's going to stop me.
Yeah.
Okay, but there'd be no store. I thought a store would suddenly open up on, if he signed it Thursday, Friday, the first store would open up.
Oh, no, you've been taking for a long ride, my friend.
No, they've got to send it to a committee.
I love New York.
Send it to a committee to see how it's going to be legalized.
Exactly.
And
I don't want to near schools. That's an insomnia. That's what they're going to do. So be like the Godfather.
Yeah, but I mean, isn't that ridiculous? I mean, what they should do is, if they say, well, we're going to make it legal, okay, let's all take a vote. They should already have in that thing a boilerplate of how it all works. You gotta be licensed to sell it, and you gotta pay a tax, so much of a tax on it. Don't touch that phone. Yeah. See, what he does, he's doing the show on the phone, and then somebody calls him, and then he's got to reject the call. Don't touch it. Just let it go. Okay? You're talking to Uncle Al now. And it's slowly drifting to its crotch. I don't want to see that. I do not want to see that. Oh, there we go. Anyway, so you go down to these pot stores. How expensive? How expensive is it? Let's say I want to buy what kind of?
You can get a 1/4 ounce of shake for $40, and it's usually really good. And you can get an 1/8 of an ounce for about the same thing. Buds and flowers,
So a whole ounce would cost you about $160, right?
And 10, 20, 30, yep, something like that.
Okay. That's cheaper, isn't it? Than it
Maybe
used.
two.
How much
It's,
did you?
I have no problem with it.
No, but I mean,
problem with
when it was illegal, how much did you pay for an ounce?
It depends when it was. In high school, it was $25, but later on, I never bought it.
I remember an ounce going for like $250, something like that.
Oh yeah, sure. No,
Yeah.
they probably have real good ones for that much. I haven't checked out the ounces. I get quarters and I get eighths. So
Yeah, yeah. But they're different prices for different types.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, do you know which one's most expensive?
There's a different brand every time you go in there. Yeah. This one's called Trainwreck. This one's called Fender Bender. This one's called Brain Damage. This one's called Retard, full on retard. I just go in. I say, what's good? What has a high THC count? I like a hybrid, an indica and a sativa, just a little mixer, and just off to the races. That's all.
So you buy it. Let's talk about you and your hat.
It's simple. I've been doing it for 50 years.
I know you've been, of course, because it makes you feel like a jazz musician.
Bebop, baby. Don't you dig what's going Squaresville? Miles, man.
My father worked in he's a musician, and he would work in various bands and so on in San Francisco. And I said, Dad, have you ever smoked pot? And I think he said he did. He tried it. Because he said, we have musicians who were smoking it all the time.
Yeah, sure.
And he said they used to think that it would make them play better. He said, but I never heard one that played better because he was on pot. Yeah. He said, in fact, some of them played worse. But they believed they were playing better.
Thought they did.
Yeah.
Devil weed, damn it.
But who told me the story? Somebody told me the story. Was it Kravitz? No. I'm trying to remember who told me this story, where he decided that he was going to go home and this was when pot was the big thing, and everybody was doing pot illicitly, okay? And he went home to his father, and he was home for the weekend, and he said, Dad, I smoke pot. And he said, oh, okay. He said, would you like to try some? And his father said, okay, I'm game. So he lights up a joint, and he tells him, here, you inhale it and you hold it. And he says, yeah, I've heard that. So he goes up, he hands it over to his father, right? And then he hands it over to his father. His father takes a puff out of it, and they're both sitting there, and they're both kind of buzzing off the high, okay? And finally the kid says to his father, well, Dad, what do you think? And his father said, hasn't changed since I was a kid. So, for all of you who think your parents never tried pot, forget it. Well, I mean, of course, kids today, if you're a kid today, your parents probably were high all the time. They're probably high right now.
My father wanted to try pot when he was younger, but he was busy fighting the Nazis, so it's a simpler time.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, your pot was made illegal by Harry J. Anslinger.
Harry Anslinger, that bastard, 1937.
And by the way, if you go and you see the thing about Billie Holiday versus the United States, which is on, I can't remember, I think it's on HBO, but I'm not certain. The main bad guy in that is Harry J. Anslinger. He's the one that went after Billie Holiday.
What an asshole.
What an asshole. Absolute asshole.
Say that
this was a guy who created his own place in the government. He was the ultimate bureaucrat. He invented his job. And he made people believe that marijuana was this terrible, horrible drug. And he was the one that, for instance, I think paid for Reefer Madness. So that they would go out. So what happened is, if you look at pot, 1933 was totally legal. People smoked it and everything.
Yeah.
If you started looking at newspapers, all of a sudden there were phony stories about people jumping out of buildings high on marijuana and things like that. All these negative stories, and these were the stories planted by Harry J. Anslinger.
Yeah.
And then by 1935, well, we've got to take care of this devil weed. Let's make it illegal. And they made it illegal, and because he was already in line for it, they gave him the job of pot czar, marijuana czar. and drugs are. And he remained so till the early 1950s. And he gave himself a job. And supposedly, on his deathbed, somebody asked him, did you really believe that marijuana was bad for people? And he said, nah, just gave me a job.
What an asshole.
Yeah, what an asshole. All the people, in those days, folks, you went to jail for pot. You could go to jail for pot for what, 20 years?
Sure.
And when we look at it now, I mean, everybody's making it legal, and we realize that it's really it's a benign drug. Nobody commits crime on marijuana. Nobody can. You're not aggressive enough to commit a crime.
Vitamin M.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So finally, we're legalizing it, but geez, it took a long time. I always like to tell the story about the time. The writer P.J. O'Rourke. PJ and I knew each other in New York. He worked for the National Lampoon, and he was at my place one day, and we're sitting on the floor, as most people did in those days, beanbag chairs,
Yep.
and we're passing a joint back and forth, and he's getting high, and I'm getting high, and he looks at me and he says, someday this is going to be illegal.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, I hope it's sooner than later. Well, it turned out it was later, because I was in my 40s when we had that little discussion, and now I'm in my 80s, okay? And I feel kind of robbed, and I feel sorry. I feel sorry.
So I don't care.
If he was alive today, I feel sorry for Robert Mitchum, who went to jail for marijuana. You remember that?
Sure.
But because he was a movie star, they only gave him like 3 months or something like that.
Hey, Krupa, got a reefer.
Then you know what? It didn't ruin Mitchum's career.
Nah, no.
I could never figure out why. It would ruin anybody else's, right?
He liked them.
Wasn't Gene Krupa the drummer?
Yeah, they with him too. So yeah.
Yeah. So all these people got arrested for pot.
Yeah.
And God, I mean, we should give them money for the time they spent in jail.
That's right.
Because
reparations for all the pot is.
Now it's legal. And what happens to all those people who are in jail now for pot? Because there got to be some people in jail somewhere for pot.
I got caught with a seed in 1970 or something.
Yeah. What happens to those people? Do they let them out now?
Good question.
So, I mean, because I think there got to be some people still in jails on marijuana charges.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
So it sucked, what we did.
Our hotline is open, Loberman 4.
Hey, listen. If I had my way, all drugs would be legal.
Yeah.
Make it if it's a problem, make it a medical problem, not a legal problem.
There you go.
I mean, no, heroin is not good for you folks. Don't try heroin, but it's not as bad as they say it is.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't get hooked on the first shot. Okay,
Yeah.
That's a lie. I'll say that right now. But don't take that as a reason to go out and try it, because it can take 6 weeks of constant use for you to become addicted.
Yeah.
But once you're addicted, what a lousy habit. I mean, you've known heroin addicts. It's
Sure.
It's pitiful.
It's horrible.
Just pitiful.
Scary.
But nevertheless, it should be legal, and it should be dispensed legally to people who have
legal park they can all hang out at,
Yeah.
area.
But all drugs should be legalized, and then we should deal with them individually, whether they're a medical problem or they're but don't make them a legal problem, because you're taking perfectly decent people and turning them into criminals. I thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. That's my stand, and I'll stick with it. And right here is our poster child for pot smoking. Won't you help little Stephen here to be able to
send me some samples? Send me some samples. Loberman 7 326 operators are standing by. Ask them Miss Buxom.
Let me just ask you this quickly. You get yourself a quarter of an ounce, right?
Yeah.
That's what you buy every time, right?
Yeah, here, there.
Do they give you a break in price if you buy a whole ounce?
Probably not. I don't know.
Yeah, but anyway, you do
you
buy a quarter of an ounce. How long does that last you?
It can last you for a week or two, or 10 days, or an hour, or whatever. It depends.
An hour.
That's how good the music is, man. Woo-wee.
What is a quarter ounce? About a bud, couple of buds?
a quarter ounce. It's a bag like like this, like this.
Yeah.
A square bag like that,
Yeah.
and you just then you fill it and you smoke it and you have fun and you
Okay.
exhale and inhale and you go, oh boy, look at me.
They say they sell shake.
Shake, yes.
Now that's got to be really cheap, right?
But it's still pot. It's good.
But is it cheap?
Yeah.
It's the cheapest.
Cheaper.
Huh?
Cheaper. Yeah.
Yeah. Because shake's fine. You know.
I got no problem with shake. Believe you me.
It's still pot, and they call it shake.
I have a Sherman tank down Broadway on it, but
isn't it amazing? They call it shake, and that's a term that I heard 40 years ago.
Shake. Give me some shake.
Yeah, some shake. Hey, listen, we've run out of time here.
How about that?
Yeah. And we'll talk to Stephen Pearl again next time. Thank you so much, Stephen. I really appreciate it.
See, even how I remember to show up.
Bye-bye. And smoke some for me. Bye.
Yeah, definitely.
Now in our 6th year, this is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Hey there, everybody. How are you? Let me just put my earphones on, give you a little more volume here so you can hear me. Here I am with my glasses on. I'll take them off. I don't need them all the time. It's weird. It's really weird. Anyway, how are you? Oh, you know what I forgot to do? Watch. See, now I look. How do I look? I look okay? All right. But now, hey, I'm beautiful. Okay? I'm beautiful. What is the problem up there? I've got some. Let me do that. There we go. That solves the problem. Okay. It's a fake background. What can I say? It's just a fake background. Let me see here. A couple of things. I went to the doctor today to get I have some gazorchness up here. I have some, like, it gets red, right? And so I wondered what that was. Okay, and I went to Marjorie says, go to the dermatologist. Plus, you should have your entire body looked over to see if you have anything wrong with you. All right. So I go to the dermatologist, and he looks at this. Now, I'm worried about this for weeks because it's not attractive, and I do a little TV thing here every night. And I look bad enough as it is already. I don't want to enhance my my ugliness. Okay. So anyway, so I go to him, and he looks at it and he goes, it's dandruff on your forehead. What? He says, yeah, it's dandruff on your forehead. That's what it is. It's like dandruff. He said, here, I'll give you, I'll subscribe to you a thing for taking care of it, and you can get it at the front desk. Okay, so and then he does a whole body thing. I get naked, and he's looking all over my body, and of course Marjorie goes, "You never know what's on your body. You might have cancer and skin and everything." He says, your body's perfect. Haven't got anything there. Well, I mean, it's not perfect. It's pretty ugly at this point. But, you know, it's perfect enough so far as the doctor's concerned. And he sends me on my merry way. Now, I go out to the front desk, and I sign out, and she says, here's the stuff he wanted you to use, okay? So he gives me a jar of this stuff, and she says, that's $33. And I go, can I put this on my Medicare or whatever? Oh, no, this is not Medicare stuff. This is just, you know. So I said, $33? Oh, okay, here's my credit card, $33. Now I'm driving, and I'm looking at it, and it says, hydrocortisone 1% with aloe. And I'm thinking, wait till I get home. But I think I've been solving this problem already. And I get home, and I find that I've been putting this stuff on my forehead. It's been helping it go away. And I look at it, and it says hydrocortisone 1% with aloe. And this tube cost me like $8. Okay, but he charged me $33 for a beautiful looking jar. It's really a cool looking jar. It looks like I'm getting something special. But no, he's just he probably is taking the stuff, buying it at CVS, squirting it into one of these beautiful jars, and charging me $33 for it. So anyway, that was my story on that. Now the other thing that happened today, and so I still feel a little ripped off. You know, I don't care. The guy's a nice guy. I know we're living in a pandemic, and he's got enough problems keeping his doors open. He's a Park Avenue doctor. Okay, that's very fancy. Say you got a Park Avenue doctor, and you're going to the Park Avenue doctor. But to get down there, I still take like Lyft. Now I take Lyft because I don't want to get on a bus. I don't want to get on a train to get there, and somehow I've been using Lyft all along, and they haven't been that expensive. They've been rather reasonable. To go to my dentist, it's usually cost me about $30, and this place is nearer to me where I was going today than that. And I look, I finally, like 5 minutes beforehand, I go to get my Lyft, and it says $42. Well, I mean, I got to get there, so I tell them, give me $42, get them here, let me go. So I go downstairs and I wait for the car, and as I'm driving there, I figure, you know, I've never used Uber. Let me just look at Uber, okay? Now I always thought Uber was the big ripoff. I mean, I always hear terrible things about Uber. All right. I look at this ride I'm taking, which is costing me in Lyft $42, plus I'm going to have to give a tip. Came to $51 after I was through. One trip to the doctor. Okay, it's one way. But I look at Uber, and I could have gotten it for $22. Now, isn't that a little disparity? $20 disparity between one and the other? And I was always told that, you know, Uber was the ripoff company. So, what do I know? Okay. So those are the two things that happened to me today that I put this back on. Today that got me really in a lather. But I don't care. It's only money. And how long am I going to live? Do I need all the money I have saved? You know, I would like to know when I die, and who knows when that's going to be. It could be tomorrow, okay? It could be tomorrow. I'll miss you all, okay? It could be tomorrow. It could be 10 years from now, but I don't know, okay? So I would like to be able to spend my last penny the day before I die and not leave any on the table. I would also like, wouldn't you like to know when you were going to die? I mean, I know that sounds like a horrible thing. No, I don't want to know when I'm going to die, and you know, whatever. But if you knew when you were going to die, you'd know how much of your money to spend right now, okay? Instead, you're saving it because if you live to be 100, oh, you're in trouble, okay? If you start spending it now. And the other thing is that if you knew you were dying, that when you were going to die, you go out and max out all your credit cards, and then goodbye, see you later. Oh, by the way, credit card companies, I came out ahead, you know. So, just little theories of mine, screwed up as they might be. Anyway, let me see here. We got to go to our Zoom panel, and we do that by simply admitting everybody to the show. As you can see, they all start popping up like crazy here. And we're starting off with Jeff and Brian Neary and Charlie Wallace and Trucker Steve. And and Jeff Stein. Okay. We got everybody? Okay, Jeff, and your mic isn't on. I just want you to know that, just so you know.
I know that.
Oh, you see, okay, I just want you to know that. You know, I mean, it's just so you aren't surprised later on. All right?
Thank you.
Yeah.
We save money for our kids.
Well, yeah, but I don't have any kids.
Uncle Alex.
Huh? Well, and let's say...
We're your kids. Spread the wealth. Well, if Marjorie, if you both go, then you can spread the wealth to us.
So we could, because I don't have anybody. See, let's say Marjorie goes first. We both look at each other every morning and go like, which one's going first here? Okay, which one's going first? But if she goes first, I get her apartment that she owns, okay, which I could unload for maybe 400 grand, 450 grand, depends on the market at any given moment, all right? But then I've got the money, but then I'm next on the agenda to go. And now who do I leave that to? I mean, I don't have anybody to leave it to. All right? I mean, I don't have any kids, right? That's why I could max out my credit cards and nobody would have to pay for them, right?
I say if you pass away that night, whoever's on the call waiting for you, we get to split it.
Yeah.
We deserve it, right? Jeff, Charlie, and I for sure.
Absolutely.
And you know what that if I announced that that's what I was going to do you know what that would do for this show?
Oh, that's
It would get us maybe 2 more callers. Maybe. Because nobody else would hear it, so what,
Yeah, remember all the response you got when you posted that you had the cancer, the touch of the cancer?
Yeah.
That's what you got to say. This is your last year because of your cancer run.
The worst thing I ever did was telling people that I had cancer.
I remember.
And I'll tell you why. You know why.
Yeah.
You suddenly get all these things. Oh, Alex, we're praying for you. What do you mean? I've got prostate cancer. They're going to put some seeds in me. They're going to radiate me, and the chances it's going to go away completely. And if it does come back, it's not going to be for another 10 years. Okay, and by then I may be gone anyway. The other thing is I got to go get a PSA test, which I haven't had one lately, just to make sure everything's fine. But my urologist said, go get it. He says, you're going to be fine. He said, you have no perceptible PSA, and that means that the chances of it coming back are very low. Okay, so, but anyway, but when I put that up, that I had prostate cancer, I got all this, we're praying for you, we're praying for you, and we're hoping and praying that you're going to be okay, Alex. And I'm going, hey, it's no big deal. I'm just telling you so you know, right? I let people know about what's happening in my life. That's always been the way I've done stuff. But, what happens with a lot of other people, they put it out there and they make it into a big deal. Oh, did you hear? Oh, so-and-so has cancer. And then they make a big deal. But we're going to try and suss it through, and you're going, it's not that bad. So what was it? Did Howard Stern say he had something at one point that they thought might be cancer, but it turned out not to be? And everybody was going crazy, and I'm going, what you've got is nothing, I mean, there are a lot of cancers, that you can get that aren't going to kill you. Okay? There are some that will, and you don't pay attention to them. Like a melanoma from sun cancer, that could kill you. Really worse than my prostate cancer did. But people go, oh, yeah, I got cancer. Hey, got cancer? Oh, I had a cancer scare. I had let me tell you who had exactly what I had, and it was solved in exactly the same way by exactly the same doctor. And know this story. My prostate cancer, they put, first they did radiation, they put seeds in there. And my doctor was the doctor who put the seeds in Rudy Giuliani 20 years ago, and his cancer has yet to come back. He saved Rudy Giuliani's life, which was a good reason for me not to go to him. Okay? But, and I never once, I knew this about him, but I never once ever let on or brought up Rudy Giuliani. Because he probably hears it all the time. Like, oh, you saved his life? Well, to hell with you, We know you're a doctor, but that Hippocratic oath you could have kind of skipped on for him, So, if he saved his life 20 years ago, it was Rudy Giuliani was younger, and prostate cancer is more deadly than when you're 80. So, but I had the same guy. And
was that procedure well known back then, 20 years ago?
Oh,
too,
yeah. Well, this guy is the guy who he didn't invent it, but he modified it and made it more successful.
Wow.
And it created a methodology that to this day is being used by people, although they don't do this procedure a lot. And the reason is they say, well, it's just old-fashioned procedure. It's an old thing, right? But that's not the reason why. It's that there are very few doctors in this country who truly know how to do it. And that's the problem, see? That's the problem. They don't know how to do it. And we've been joined by Scott, by the way, second night in a row. I guess you get part of my inheritance. Kevin. Hi, Kevin. Good to see you. How you doing?
Hi, Alex.
What's new? What's new? Yeah.
Not much.
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you. Okay, turn up your volume a little bit.
I'm working on my volume here. Hang on.
Okay. Well, anyway, yeah, he'll do it.
I went to my urologist just the other day.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Yeah. And what did he say?
You're fine.
Yeah.
Enjoy your life.
Did he give you a PSA test?
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you gotten the results yet?
Yeah, everything's good.
No, you already got the PSA test back?
No, not from that, because I didn't need it.
Wait, no, you need a PSA test.
Every year I get one.
Every year?
I think they did it already.
They probably did. Did they draw blood on you?
No.
No. Well, then they didn't give you a PSA test, so how does he know everything's perfect?
I don't know. I guess I got to trust them.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you know what they do at our age. You know what they think at our age, don't you? Well, if he gets it, he's gonna die of something else before it kills him. That's their attitude.
Yeah,
I don't like that attitude, especially since I plan to live forever. Yeah. So I was thinking of dropping this show and starting a new show called The Old Show. And just talk about stuff that affects old people. You know, nobody will want to put advertising on it because they don't figure anybody who's listening to the program will live long enough, right? You know, but it'd be a show you'd like it, Jeff.
Yeah, but what about Brian? Is it you going to have to kick him off because he's too young?
Brian, we're going to have an age limit here. You got to be at least 75.
Well, bye then.
Huh?
I lost someone already.
Everybody has to leave there.
I want to see how few
the
people.
drug
I want
companies
to. I want to do a show where I want to see how few people I'm going to get to call. Okay. You know.
Get all the drug companies to sponsor you.
Yeah, we need a little more volume, on you,
Yeah,
Kevin.
the wrong way, Kevin.
Kevin, more volume.
More volume?
Yeah, more.
Okay.
So I just had blood work done again, and they must have given me a PSA. I know they gave me a long list of stuff to look at, so I just looked at all of it. Cholesterol, everything was down, and in those things. But what's PSA? What does that stand for?
PSA is prostate specific antigen.
Oh, okay, yeah. I'll have to
That
check.
doesn't explain anything, does it?
No, but I'm saying it'll explain what it is if it's on my list.
Okay, we'll let Kevin explain it to you. Kevin,
What's that?
were you going to explain it to him?
No, I was just testing my microphone. Check.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Hello.
Can you
testing.
hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay. Carry on.
Anyway, so and it's a test that when you have prostate cancer, you have a rise in what's called your PSA. The number rises, and they don't know whether it's actually an absolute indicator, but if it goes up precipitously, it's a good idea to look further into it. Okay. And so if you have a PSA of under 4, you're fine. But if you have it over 4, they start looking at it. If it keeps rising, then they go and give you, they do a lot of things sticking stuff up your butt.
The more it rises, the less you rise.
Yes. But it doesn't mean mine rose. And then it went down, but I still wound up they found cancer when they did a biopsy. And so they decided to put me through all this stuff. So I did the radiation, which was easy, and I did the seeds, which, wasn't a big problem. It took me maybe 6 months to completely get over it, to where I wasn't having peeing problems and things like that. But it was no big deal. You were here while I was going through it, you know.
Yeah.
And I think I was only out one day from the show. I was right back the next day and sitting down, which is, you know. So, you know, and I won't tell you how they do it, how they do the seeds, but they have to take a big needle and go inside somewhere and start
It's horrible.
putting, huh?
That sounds horrible.
Well, it sounds horrible, but it isn't. The problem was they give you, to begin with, they're going to put you out. Okay? They put you out. In my case, though, they couldn't put me out. I'm getting ready to get put out because I like getting put out because that drug they give you, that propofol, is terrific. It's only about a second of getting high, but it's a great feeling. It's boom, oh, wonderful. And then the guy says it's over. You know. They couldn't do that to me, he said, because I'm 80 years of age and they didn't want to take the chance. Okay? That they don't want to put me under. But they will give me a spinal. And I'm going, oh, that's not going to be pleasant. They said, and then we'll give you some like Valium or something like that intravenously, and you won't feel a thing and know what's going on. And they did that, and the spinal didn't hurt at all. And then they then gave me this stuff in my arm, the intravenous Valium or whatever, and I was so out of it that I knew everything that was going on around me, but I didn't really give a shit, you know, and nothing hurt because they've killed me now from the waist down. So for a while I became Patrick, you know. I told Patrick, I said, now I know what it's like to be you, you know. Not be because after it's through, you got to wait about 3 hours before this stuff wears off. You're in recovery and you're waiting for your legs to start working, and that's the worst part about it, you know. But otherwise, no problem, you know. What?
Patrick, okay?
Yeah.
He hasn't called the show in a long time.
No, but he posts on Facebook. In fact, he posted today that today is his cripple anniversary.
It's his crippleversary.
Crippleversary, yeah.
Well, I talk to him about once a week, and he's in fine shape. You know, he's great. But anyway, who had his hand raised?
Oh, I did because I was going to talk about Patrick's crippleversary.
Yeah.
18 years.
18 years.
Yeah.
Wow. He handles it very well. I always like Patrick for that.
Amazing.
You know. He's terrific, and Kevin knows him as well too. So, you know, he's really a terrific guy. I like him and I admire him. How's that for a doubleheader, Kevin?
Yep.
Me too.
Yep. Anyway, so now I want to tell people, Scott here. See where I got my arrow? Scott is not. Your first name is Scott, and your last name, you have K there, is what?
Oh, Kaprowski.
Kaprowski. So that's why. Yeah. Well, when it has Scott there, a lot of people will look at him and say, "Is that Scott Boddicker?" He does look like Scott Boddicker, doesn't he? Yeah.
Scott's got long hair.
Yeah.
I know, but that's the only difference. You know, he looks facially a lot like Scott. You know, some night Scott should call, and somehow I can put him side by side with Scott K, and we can do the comparison. But anyway, Trucker Steve here. Where are you tonight?
Des Moines, Iowa.
That wasn't where you were yesterday, was it?
No, where was I yesterday? Sydney, Nebraska.
Sydney, Nebraska?
Never heard of it.
Yeah, it's a small little town.
No kidding.
It's not the middle of nowhere, but you can see it from there, right?
But the headquarters for that one hunting Cabela's. It's a hunting outfitter store.
Yeah.
Cabela's, yeah.
That town is where their headquarters are.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm not familiar with it, but that's because I'm not a hunter.
Well, I've been to their store once, and I didn't like it.
Yeah. I know. I've always seen a
The
lot
guy
of.
that owns it
Yeah.
had all these animals that he brought in from Africa that he shot.
Oh, great.
They were stuffed, like elephants, lions. It
Oh,
was
boy.
disgusting.
Really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one.
I don't know. I don't know why people do that. I've been watching. I've been watching.
Sydney, Nebraska. I didn't.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been watching this documentary on Hemingway. I finished
Yeah,
it
me
tonight.
too.
It's good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I gotta say, I never liked Hemingway. I thought he was boring.
Well, I never read Hemingway myself. I was never much of a reader anyway, but I never read Hemingway, and this made me kind of want to read him, you know?
Well, everybody raves about him, but I read, what was, The Sun Also Rises, and the first one, A Farewell to Arms.
Well, no, that was not the first one. That was about the third or fourth one.
Yeah, but the early ones, they're so boring.
Yeah.
I never read the For Whom the Bell Tolls.
For Whom the Bell Tolls. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's a very good documentary, though. I never read a lot of him. Never really venerated him, let's say. But in watching this, I began to realize why he was great. Okay, and
talking about me.
Why?
Huh?
Why was he great?
Because he changed the way in which writing was done.
That's what I don't get.
Well, but that's because you weren't alive then. You didn't know what crap people were writing in those days, you know.
Well, I've read like The Great Gatsby. That was a great.
Well, now you've got to realize Fitzgerald was out of that whole crowd. Okay,
Yeah.
I mean he came before Hemingway, but he was in Paris with Hemingway, and they were all coming up at the time. And so Fitzgerald, I mean, I like Fitzgerald a lot. I think he wrote great American novels. I think The Great Gatsby is a great novel.
Yeah.
But what Hemingway did, he had a way with prose. I mean, with just dialogue that was amazing, and the terseness of his sentences, and how he could get a whole idea encapsulated into a single paragraph. And he changed the way in which writing was written in this country. So, you know.
Well, that's what they say, but I just can't see it.
Yeah. Now, I was never a big fan of his either. But, you know, I found this whole documentary fascinating because it's about his life and about how he lived and his psychoses and his problems and everything. And I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but he commits suicide at the end. So.
Yeah. What's it on? It's on
PBS.
Yeah.
Oh, PBS. Okay.
Yeah.
One of those Ken Burns deals.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And another Ken Burns documentary that maybe is longer than it has to be.
Yeah.
You know, he goes he's microscopic when he deals with the subject. You know, he doesn't just go through it. I mean, and do it. I mean, a lot of people have done documentaries on Hemingway, and they're like 42 minutes. You know. But this one goes deeply, really, into his marriages and into his mind and what he was thinking at the time and what he was writing to people. And if you notice, there were no interviews with him except for one interview that NBC did, and then he was reading off a teleprompter because he didn't feel confident doing interviews, so he never did interviews. And because I kept saying as it was going on, as somebody who likes interviewing people, boy, he'd be great to interview. And then they showed the one interview that he did, and I went, boy, I'm glad I never lived long enough to interview him. You know, it would have driven me nuts. Anyway, how you doing tonight, Alan?
I'm doing good. I got off the phone with my mother 5 minutes late, and then had trouble getting on again with the stupid Zoom. I had to reboot the computer. So
Really?
That's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it.
Well, don't call Zoom stupid, otherwise it won't work for you.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
At least I'm not having camera problems like you.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Well, I went in today and I took my USB strip and I pulled out the plug, the electrical plug in it. Okay.
Yes.
And I plugged it back in, And then I turned off the computer and started it up, and it started right up. So
How about
apparently,
that? Alan might have been right.
well,
last night.
it had something to do with the strip. Now I may have to get new strips eventually here, but
Alan said that last night.
I know Alan said that last night. So thank you for helping me, and you're never going to let me forget it, are you?
Oh no, I'm done with it. I'm
It
done.
was
With
a
it.
great concept that you came up with. Thank you, Alan.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a reality.
No,
too.
it was one of the.
I'm pretty technical.
When you said it, I thought it's one of the possibilities, but it's something coming from. It's not coming from the computer, and it's not. It's coming definitely from the USB inputs.
Right.
But
I'm glad you got a. Looks like you got it resolved.
maybe we don't know yet. We'll have to wait till this thing screws up again. But I don't know. I don't care much. I'm getting to the point where I say, fuck it. If tomorrow somehow this machine breaks down on me tomorrow, if I have time by showtime, I'll fix it. Otherwise, fuck it.
Yeah.
Can you let us know though? Because if we think you die, we're going to be online like. We don't know.
Well,
right?
no. What you're gonna hope is that you won the money.
That's what I'm saying. We're going to be excited, and then the next night you show up online, and we're like, "What the heck?"
Very few of these guys know about this lady who used to work on right next to Alex, and she didn't come to work one day. Remember?
Liz?
Yeah,
What was this? Who?
the lady who died.
Oh, you mean Lynn Samuels?
Lynn Samuels.
Oh, well, I know.
Oh, yeah.
I kind of hated her.
No.
I hated her.
People that die in between.
I don't care.
A shift and B shift usually don't come back with.
She was a cunt when she was alive, and she's a cunt when she's dead. Okay. She hated me. She hated
Air
me.
America?
What?
Was she on Air America?
No, it was like Sirius XM.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was on she had the 2 o'clock or the 1 o'clock show.
Something like that. Yeah.
I think she was on Air America too, though, wasn't she?
No.
Before
Never.
that? No?
Never.
Oh, okay.
Never. But I mean, it was amazing. This was a woman who just decided to hate me. I don't know why. I never said anything bad to her. I was always very what do you call it? Deferential to her. Because she had been in New York a long time and she'd built up a respect among certain people, thought she was the ultimate liberal and things like that, okay? So I went, that's, I should treat her nicely, and I always treated her nicely. But what was that?
There.
My phone going off, sorry.
Oh, I see. What was the music?
It was some high school thing. Don't worry about it.
Oh, okay. All right. But I just, I always was very nice to her. And she was always very mean to me. And in spite of that, I was always very nice to her. And, to show you what a kind of a person she was, she died. And they said, Alex, would you do a memorial for her on your show? And not wanting to be the bad guy, I said, okay, we'll do a memorial on my show to Lynn Samuels. So they said, oh, listen, look who we got. We got her sister to talk with you. And I said, oh, that's good. That's very nice. And so I have her on, and I say, hello, and I don't know what her name was. I don't remember what her name was. And I said, listen, we're happy to have you here. It's a memorial for Lynn. How do you feel about it? And express your feelings at this moment of your loss. She says, no loss at all. She was a terrible person.
Oh my God!
Did you remember that, Jeff?
Yeah.
You heard it. And we all kind of paused, stunned in a way, but also very pleased that somebody had spoke the very real truth on this memorial to Lynn Samuels. But no, she was terrible. Yeah. Okay, thank you. Very nice having you here. I mean, after she said that, I had no more to ask her. You know, what are your remembrances of her as you grew up? Well, she always was a cunt back then. And she, yeah. So that was Lynn Samuels. But I have to tell you how much I love Lynn, but I didn't, so I won't. Yeah, so that's it. So anyway, what's happening? What's happening in the news? There's nothing much happening in the news, except there are a couple of. First of all, go to Dr. Doom. Go to.
Oh yeah, we had a real bad day today. We lost 2,580 people today.
Wow.
Going up.
Wow, we had gone down below 1,000, hadn't we?
Yeah. Yep. In fact, on Sunday we only had 215.
And you know who's starting to get it more than anybody else? Kids from 18 to 25.
Yeah.
And in a way, there was part of me that went, oh, that's terrible. And there was part of me that went, good. Because those little assholes are the ones that were passing it to the rest of us. You know, they thought they were invincible, and now they're not invincible.
That's
But
right.
didn't say, how about the deaths? Are they in that age group too?
I don't know. They don't give the statistics. I get that from Johns Hopkins. You know.
Yeah. And they don't have it by age. Age group. They say that seniors are not dying from it anymore. That they've
been vaccinated.
They've been vaccinated, exactly. You know. And today, you know, this thing I got, this little tchotchke I have on my phone, where it gives the where I have my thing there. That's my
The things there.
Yeah, that's
That's
my.
small.
I'll show you guys too. It did expire a month from when I signed up. It was supposed to expire on the 26th of April. Well, now I went back in and I hit a thing that said get a pass. So I went back and got a new pass. All right, and a second pass appears on here, and it's for let's see here. What's 8? August 28th. So it's about what it is it's at the 6-month mark from when I had my shot, and I think that's because they're saying that it's good for at least 6 months now. The shot. Now they may upgrade this when they make their next statement. Say, hey, we're finding out now that people it's protecting them for longer than that. So we'll see what happens.
Now they're starting to sell counterfeit COVID cards for $40.
Are they really? That's what I figured would happen. That's why this is so good, because this goes into the databases at the counties and cities and so on, and says, okay, we see you had your shot. This is much better than the cards, because you can just buy one of those cards and then fill it out. Yes, Alan.
So the FBI announced that they're going to go after people for counterfeiting a federal document.
But that's not it's not a federal document, is it?
Yeah, it is. It's put out by the CDC. It's an official CDC card.
Oh, okay. All right.
According to them, I don't know.
Well, you see, all they have to do, they don't even have to forge it. What they can do is they can find some of these cards, a whole bunch of these cards that haven't been filled out, and just sell them, and then you fill them out yourself.
Yeah, they can do that too.
Yeah,
but I think it's because it says Centers for Disease Control on it. It becomes a federally protected something. I don't know.
Wow.
It's just what I heard on the news.
Wow.
So,
that's
how they're going to find these people unless they advertise on the internet. I don't know.
Well, I think, but the whole COVID thing is like up and down, up and down, up and down.
New York is a hot spot right now.
Well, they say it's a hot spot, but it's not. It doesn't look like a hot spot. I look at, for instance, here's the latest statistics from our governor. Just sent by tonight.
He's believable.
Yeah, he's believable. Yeah. He says that they had the hospitalizations dropped to 4,526 of the 221,674 tests reported yesterday. 3.25% were positive. That's pretty good.
Well, here in the Bay Area, we're at 1.2% positive.
Yeah, it's gone down considerably in California. So fuck you. The 7-day average positivity rate was 3.48%. There were 950 patients in ICU today, 13 up from the previous day. Of them, 593 were intubated. Sadly, we lost 59 New Yorkers to the virus. It's a little more than yesterday. Okay. So, but it's been hovering right, around 60 for the last couple of weeks. So, but hey, I had the shot. We don't know of anybody that's died from who has had the shot who has died.
No.
No.
In fact, do we know anybody? Has anybody gotten the COVID?
I don't know.
Yeah, there have been some people that got
My granddaughter.
But has she had the shot?
No.
Oh no.
No.
We're talking about somebody who's
That's
had. We're talking about somebody who's had the shot. Yeah.
Yeah, we know of people that have gotten the COVID after getting vaccinated, and that's how we know that nobody's died or even been hospitalized.
Well, I want to get these.
The numbers are very low for people that have been fully vaccinated that are actually coming down with COVID.
Well, I think people find this a boring discussion for the most part because the number just went down. It was up around 48, now it's down to 42. So let's talk about something they always like. Sex. Matt Gaetz. Did you hear that?
His friend's in big trouble, right? His friend who's in jail right now, he's supposed to testify tomorrow or something. They don't know if he's going to give him up or not.
Is he in jail?
Yeah, his buddy, right? The guy.
Greenwood or whatever the guy's name is.
Yeah.
How did he wind up in jail? I guess he supposedly paid for a trip to Europe or something, and then hired hookers.
Yeah, and I think he has more too. I think there's other items there too. But
Are you talking about the guy that was in charge of the tax collector guy?
No, the guy is a doctor.
Oh, that guy, the marijuana guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like a BFF of him.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's in jail. He's just hiding low.
Yeah, well, Matt Gaetz, I think he tried to get a pardon from Trump, a universal pardon.
Yeah.
In other words, for anything that somebody might charge him with. Now, unfortunately, I believe. Well, no, this is a federal charge. This is a federal charge. So he could have given it to him, but he didn't. He didn't want to. At last, something Trump did right.
They offered him 10 to 14 or 10 to 15 the other day, and he said, "Yeah, that'll do."
Where on the internet did you see that joke?
It was on Facebook. It was stupid.
They offered 10 to 15.
It sort of worked.
Yeah. Well, the nice thing about it is that if he was somebody 16 years of age, at least she could have gotten the COVID shot, and that would have been safe sex, I guess, something like that.
I don't know about that. But
yeah. But I mean, this is the guy I think everybody's hoping, even Republicans are hoping and praying they nail him. He's just
he's odious.
He's
a little termite,
a weasel.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I have Republican friends that claim he's innocent.
The claim he's innocent? Well, I'm not going to say he's guilty. I never will say on this program that anybody's guilty until they go to court. I can say I hope he is. I hope he is, but I can't say it.
So it is. It's that tax collector, Greenberg. Joel Greenberg. Yeah, he was making fake IDs with the congressman.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean fake IDs for COVID?
No, fake IDs.
No, for the kids.
15-year-old.
Oh, wait a minute. Fake IDs for the kids.
Yeah, so they could say they were over 18.
Oh,
boy.
Holy shit.
No, boy.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
My question is, where are the parents?
Yeah.
Your daughter is getting on a plane and going to Florida to blow a senator, and you don't have anything to say about it as a parent?
They probably thought it was a good thing.
Yeah, probably. Depends on what state they came from, the kids.
Yeah.
Florida.
Boy,
mean, in Alabama, that's a class act if you could say, yeah, I was 14 and I had sex with a senator.
You get into college because of that.
Yeah, well,
I think it's sick. I think it's sick that this guy's going to maybe get away with it. I think it's gross having sex with little kids like that.
Well, no, supposedly the girl was 17. You could say little kid, but really she's beyond little kid. Okay?
Okay.
You know?
And they said they met these girls on sugar daddy websites.
Yeah.
Sugardaddy.com, is that it?
GoDaddy.com. Make sure
No, I know I'm on.
Daddy, not sugar daddy.
No, I'm running the show off of Go. My website is on GoDaddy. Okay, so
So we
please
can't speak bad.
don't speak bad about GoDaddy. No.
No.
Not good. GoDaddy has nothing to do with SugarDaddy.com.
Yeah, I think this is he a congressman or a senator?
He's congressman.
A congressman. He's got
Gates?
a bumper-
Wait a minute,
he's
isn't
got a
Gates?
bumper-
Wait a minute, isn't Gates a senator?
No, he's congressman.
Congressman.
Congressman, right? You said senator a minute ago. I think he's got a bumper sticker on his car that says, "You've been a bad girl. Now go to my room."
Yeah, he's from the Panhandle of Florida.
Oh,
He's
okay,
congressman
all
from
right.
the Panhandle of
And
Florida.
there's a lot of Republicans in the Jacksonville area.
Yeah, but are they gonna vote for him again? Is the question.
I don't know.
Probably.
Yeah, probably.
Even if he's in jail, they'll probably.
Knowing Florida,
Probably.
the probably is a pretty good bet in Florida.
Yeah, bet.
You know.
Hey, Duncan Hunter got reelected. He was California, but
Yeah. Well, you know, I felt sorry for though way back when were all those teachers who were having sex with their students, the female teachers that were having sex with their students, because they were hot. And not the students, the teachers.
No, the teachers, yeah.
Right.
I mean, if I had a teacher like that when I was a kid, and she wanted to have sex with me at like 15, hell, I'd be there in a minute, right? And the only danger to a kid in having sex with a woman like that, you know, they say, oh well, you know, it really will affect him for the rest of his life. Bullshit. You know, the only thing, the only harm that's going to happen to him is how chafed his hands are going to get from doing all those high fives with his classmates.
Right.
Who turned him in? Was it his friends?
Yes, because they were jealous.
Jealous, right? Yeah.
No, there was this one teacher. I can't remember which one she was. There were a couple of them, and they were all drop dead gorgeous.
Yeah.
That must be difficult. When I went to grade school and I was 15, we had some of the ugliest teachers in the world. They were all men too.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, we had all nuns, so
Well,
oops.
You know.
Yeah, so there was no chance.
By the way, we always heard about priests, you know, diddling young boys, right?
Yeah.
Did any nuns diddle young boys?
Probably.
They used to beat the shit out of you, though.
Yeah, they loved to beat on us. Yeah.
Did you go to Catholic school too, John?
When I was really young, yeah, like from first, second, and third grade. But then I got kicked out.
But I mean, you've heard about priests who have, you know, obviously been nasty and done the nasty deed, but you don't hear about this with, you know, with nuns.
Oh, the nuns would fool around with the priests, I think.
You think that was it?
That was our rumors.
I tell you, years ago, I was doing a show in San Francisco, in Marin County, in which I was the announcer on the Rosary Hour. And what it was is the Rosary Hour did their show from different radio stations and did kind of all around the Bay Area, so they could use different priests and things like that, right? So the Rosary Hour comes to KTIM in San Rafael, and it's, Alex, you're going to be the announcer on the Rosary Hour. And my mother, of course, always loved to listen to me when I was on the radio. And as a good Jewish mother, she was there every time I was doing a show. right? And as soon as I did the opening on this show, they had to put a stick in her mouth to keep her from swallowing her tongue. Because I said, I remember it to this day. This is the Rosary Hour, brought to you by the San Francisco Archdiocese. Join us now as we reflect on the life of our Lord and his most blessed mother. And my mother started just swallowing her tongue. I mean, she went epileptic. I'd come home and she'd go, "How could you do that?" You know. Then I go, "Well, Mom, I'm Jewish and they paid me for it." Okay. You know?
How could you not do it?
And then it was okay. But anyway, I had a priest there one day say to me, there was this one nun that was on the show, and she wasn't bad looking. She was, I figured if you took the habit off and all of that, she'd probably be at least somewhat hot. And the priest said to me, "See her? Huh? I did it.
There were rumors that they had underground tunnels from the convent to the rectory. Priests lived in the rectory and the nuns lived in the convent.
I heard it. I heard that it went from the convent to the rectum. Is what I heard. But no, I just what?
Nothing. That was good.
Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah, I went 12 years Catholic school. High school was an all-boys school. We had nothing but priests. But the sad thing is, after I graduated years later, 3 priests that I had as teachers got in trouble.
Really?
Which is one of them I went overnight with. We were at a bicycle club and we biked and went camping overnight in a cabin and came back. And I must not have been attractive enough or something.
Well, I would have felt terrible if I hadn't been at least approached by a priest.
Yeah,
because I'm not good enough,
Yeah, I mean,
apparently I wasn't.
Yeah. Did you know what was going on though?
No, I never heard about anything.
Did you know what was going on, Scott?
Well, we had a priest supposedly that went on a sabbatical for a while and then came back and no one knew why. And then we found out years later that was why. But once again, they brought him back and didn't say anything.
Well, they covered it up. That's what they were that's what people found they were so guilty of, was covering it up.
Yeah.
Not only priests though. I had the Boy Scout leader. We go on these camp outs and he would stay in a trailer. We'd all be in tents, and a couple of the kids would go into the trailer to do whatever with him.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, he got arrested, and here we are, a bunch of kids testifying against him in court.
Well, actually, I was a camp counselor for the YWCA. Okay.
That sounds nice.
Yeah.
I bet you have stories.
No, I don't have any stories. Except one night we all got drunk or something, and for breakfast we had a whole bunch of eggs there to make them for breakfast, and we started finding out how much fun it was to take slingshots, put the eggs in them, and shoot them at trees. So that by the time the sun came up the next morning, there were like 4 eggs left.
Tree omelets.
And so we announced to all these campers that we were going to have a camper's breakfast, and the camper's breakfast was water and eggs.
With a little bit of tree bark.
Yeah, but it was nothing but girls. But we didn't fool around with them at all. And at least I didn't. I don't think any of my guys who worked it were either. But I had to become a member of the YWCA in order to be a camp counselor. So I was a card-carrying member of the YWCA. Was anybody here ever a camp counselor? Ah, yeah. So you know about abusing the campers, right?
Well, it was for the high school that I attended had a campground in the summer that I worked at.
Yeah.
And I learned a lot of things. I mean, first time drinking Heineken was there. There was a guy from Holland, and the kids would leave on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
New kids would come on Sunday afternoon. So you had all Saturday evening and the morning to do whatever you want. And I was a sophomore in high school, and I learned how to party that summer. They did a lot of that.
Yeah, well,
and beer drinking.
Yeah, I just, I found it interesting doing that because I was the most non-outdoors person you ever met. So to make me a camp counselor is almost hilarious. And add to that it was for the YWCA,
I have a sad story. It's a funny, sad story.
Okay,
funny,
sad
when I was like
story.
16, I went to a camp in the mountains in California. It was snowing, and there was a couple hot tubs there. And so,
wait a minute, you went camping and it was snowing?
Yes.
Who goes to camp when it's snowing?
No. We were in a cabin, staying in a cabin, but there was a hot tub, and a bunch of us would go out there into the hot tub.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was big. It was like, like most people's swimming pool, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But we ran out of beer. I mean, we had these bottles of Budweiser up there. Of course, having glass in a pool, they mix well. But when you're 16 and drunk, who cares? So a couple of us refilled the beer bottles with piss and put them in the ice. Put them in the ice, and the camp counselors found them. And the next morning, everything was drink dry.
Oh.
I'll tell you a funny story that happened to me today. See this? This is a bottle of my sparkling water that I drink. It flavors
from Costco.
Well, there's a lime version that I don't use on the air because when I use it, the bottle disappears as I'm drinking it. Okay, because of the green screen. All right.
Wow.
Well, today I go and I want to get some Windex to clean something. And I see a bottle of this next to the Windex, and it's got some of the lime stuff in it. And I figured, when did I leave it there?
Oh, no.
And I open it up, and I don't drink it, but I open it up, and I smell it. And it's Ajax like Mr. Clean liquid or something, the green liquid. It looks just like the lime. I've got to talk to our cleaning woman. Don't use these bottles and fill them with green solution, okay? You almost poisoned me.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Are you sure it wasn't Marjorie?
That was what I was thinking.
Well, she didn't.
Just saying.
If it is, she didn't admit to it, okay? All right?
You asked her.
Okay. So.
Sorry if you're watching, Marjorie.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. So.
Several of us thought it might be Marjorie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, I never thought it was Marjorie.
Hey, listen, we've been through this COVID thing together, and we've been stuck in this house for a year, okay? And we have not come close to killing each other, all right? That's a good marriage so far.
How about a little bit?
Huh?
A little bit you killed her.
Yeah, just a little bit.
I mean,
emotional kill.
She's gotten mad enough. God, yes. She's gotten mad a couple of times, and I've gotten mad a couple of times. I mean, it's got to happen. You're stuck in the house.
Really?
Now, I'm jealous of like Kevin, because Kevin, you live in California. You've got a car, so you could go out and not have to worry about catching COVID by driving your car around, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, so you and your wife haven't had to have this closeness that some people
No,
had.
she goes to work every day, too.
Yeah. And so Marjorie was working at home, and I mean, it was just, we were literally stuck here with each other for a year, and we were just amazed we didn't try to kill each other. And that the arguments were, we had them, but they weren't often, I know she's mad at me when she resorts to saying, fuck you.
That's a good
sign. Yeah,
that's a good sign. That's a good chance she's mad at you. And you and your wife Jeff haven't had any problems, right, Pam?
No, nothing.
No,
we're never.
Yep. Come on. You're gonna tell me that in a whole year.
What we know about Pam, she's the perfect wife.
Right.
Oh, Pam's a great lady, but I can't see how they went a year without at one time.
We probably tried to kill each other every week.
Yeah,
it's tough to just be in the same house, and we never went anywhere. That was the other thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, I've got a big place here, so she could go into one room and I could go into another.
Yeah.
And we didn't have to put up with each other for a day. But if this were back in my old apartment that was a one-bedroom, one of us would be dead by now. You know. Either from trying to kill each other or just saying, fuck it, I'm going outdoors without a mask. Life isn't worth living. You know. But anyway, and in your travels, Trucker Steve, in your travels, do you see a lot of masks or do you not see a lot of masks?
Half and half. It's starting to be less and less.
Less and less.
Masks.
People are getting a little chancy now. They're getting bold because they think, you know. I mean, I wear the mask all the time, and I've got the COVID shot. I went to the doctor today, and I said, we were talking, and I said, yeah, I've had we both had the masks on, and we both agreed that we both had the COVID shots, but we weren't taking our masks off. You know, even though the chances, if I took the mask off and tongue kissed the guy, I probably wouldn't get anything, right? But the point, well, I'd probably get something.
Yeah.
But
that visual is pretty gross.
But the point I'm making is that it wouldn't be that terrible. But nevertheless, we still do it. We still do it. We were going to go shake hands, and then they said no, we don't shake hands yet. You know, and and chances are, I mean, if I went around without a mask all day, I'm probably not going to get COVID. But, you know, it's my respect for other people. And we don't know that I can't get asymptomatic. That's the other thing we don't know. So here we are, back to talking about
also the mutations. They're not sure if the vaccine in real world, in the labs, the vaccine is fine. But in real world, where you got millions and millions of people, that can change. Yeah. So I would continue to wear the mask even if you're around vaccinated people.
You've had both shots, right, Kevin?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my wife just got her J&J yesterday.
Really? So she's just one shot and that's good to go. Yeah.
Yeah.
My question is, but you're still going to wear a mask outside, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where I need to, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you're in a car and you're driving around, you don't need to. But the minute you get out of the car, you put on the mask. You know.
Yeah.
So some guy came by, our next door neighbor who works at a hospital here in New York, came by and dropped off for Marjorie and I each a double layered mask. Okay. And I thought, that's pretty cool. I don't have to double up. It's a double layer mask, but it's a little harder to wear because, you know, it doesn't breathe as easily. But I put it on, and the ear strap broke.
Yeah.
right off the bat.
Wow.
And I don't have I'm not going to go knock on the door. Say, have any more? Your first one you gave me broke. You know. Well, you would have thought that in this time of COVID and the last year, that some company would have come out with a new and improved mask, something that was like really cool. Well, no, you're going to pull something out, and I don't care what you say.
Will.i.am dude.
Well, there you go. Yeah.
Did you see that one that Will.i.am dude put out?
No.
Oh yeah, it's got this, you know, full mask. It's got the earphones. It's got communication on it. It's like $300.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
And the strap still breaks.
Yeah, I don't know.
Wow.
It's got, you know, Bluetooth headphones in it and all that shit.
Really? I had it back here. You can't see it. It's on the other side of New York City. I have a one of those masks that they used to wear during the Black Death, you know, with the big beak on it.
Yeah, my daughter has one.
Yeah, the beaks were used because in it they put in something like a couple of different things like cloves or whatever that were supposed to protect you from the plague. And they wore those. But I thought
like an anteater.
I think that's a very cool look, you know. but I can't wear
Yeah, you
that.
can get them on Amazon. She got it for her Halloween costume.
Well, yeah, the one I have lights up and does things like that. But, you know, it doesn't count as a mask, I don't think. So, yeah. Now, you're where again, Scott?
I'm in Ohio.
You're in Ohio.
Yeah.
And things going pretty cool there. I mean, is it cooling down in Ohio?
Somewhat, but the cases are younger now.
Right.
And they're attributing it literally to sports.
Yeah, I was seeing that
School
tonight.
Sports is what
Yeah.
they're attributing it to.
You know, I just think that we shouldn't open up anything till at least 80% of the public has been vaccinated. You know, that so-called herd immunity. Because until then, I don't think it's safe to even send kids to school. We thought kids couldn't get it. We thought kids were kind of immune to it. And
They're
it's
dying of it.
I think wasn't it on Brian Gumble also? They were showing the sports, and they were showing how kids are getting it, and all these other coaches don't care because they're saying this is their window of opportunity to make it in sports, and so their parents are paying them to do football and stuff like that.
So there's other possibilities that other than just being in sports. The new most active variant in the United States is the UK one now, and so maybe that mutation gets kids quicker than it gets adults.
This is a few weeks ago that they're talking about, probably 3 or 4 weeks ago.
Oh,
on Brian Gumble. Yeah, and they were showing cases from the previous months.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I mean,
this is fairly new. So
here we go. We always, you know, no matter what happens on the show, somehow we always get back.
Better than talking about you know who.
The virus.
Number
What?
45. Yeah.
Better
we're
than
not
talking about
them.
who?
You know who.
What do you mean you know who? You mean Trump?
The orange dude. Yeah.
What's to talk about?
That's good.
That's
the point.
He's neutralized. I know he's been appearing some places. He was on Newsmax, but you didn't see him. It was just a phone call. And he still thinks he's president of the United States. You know,
He's doing info ads for Taco Bell, I think.
is he really? I think.
What was all the fast food?
Well, from what I saw, he's available for weddings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They need another portable toilet or what?
Well,
he's going to give the speech. He's going to give that speech, and he's only going to talk about is how he got robbed from the election again for an hour.
That's right.
Yeah, and Pence is going to come out with a book. That ought to be a good one.
Yeah.
Oh,
are you serious?
Yeah.
How I hid in the Capitol.
Yep.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
That's right. How I shit my pants in the Capitol.
Oh, yeah. If he was on the show, he would say, yes, he shit his pants.
Yeah.
He would say, I was running up the Capitol building.
Yeah.
I heard today that they're offering him $1 million for that book, Kevin.
7 figures.
You know?
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
He'll sell.
Wow.
But they don't know if they're going to get anybody to talk.
I just looked. I got to start the theme. There we go. We were having such a nice time, you know. And
Sorry I was late.
Oh, that's okay. Do you have a note?
I'll have one tomorrow for you.
Jeff, always good to have you here. And of course, Brian, great to have you here. And Charlie Wallace, great to have you here. And Rocky and Bullwinkle there.
Which one's Rocky?
Trucker Steve and Rocky, who's his dog. Look at that. Look at that cute dog.
Yeah.
And Jeff, good to have you here tonight, always as usual. And Scott, nice to have you. Second night in a row, you're almost a regular.
I'll try tomorrow too.
You're almost a regular.
Like to see
Kevin,
you here.
always a pleasure. You know that. And Alan, thank you. I'm Alex. Thank you so much for being here. All of you, give a big wave goodbye, and I'll give a big wave of goodbye at you. Okay, there they go, ladies and gentlemen. That's our citizen panel for tonight. Let me just unceremoniously hang up on them and let you know that the next show here is The Intersection with Jack Bishop. He'll be here with using Skype, and you just call GabNet Live on Skype, and you can be part of that little gathering. We'll be back again tomorrow night, 10:30, same time, same station in life. And in the meantime, as always, if you see her, tell her I love her. And by the way, be safe out there. And do your fellow citizen a favor. Even if you've been vaccinated, wear a mask until you're told the coast is clear.